Shalom, how are you? Okay, this is our, let's see here, our third actual Torah video. There might be an introductory video, so this might be the fourth video, but our third video on Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, the mitzvah of telling Yetzias Mitzrayim. We are in the source sheet, Sugya sheet, and we are in source number 6. Okay, source number 6 here. And this is going to be from Hilchos Shabbos. Okay, we're used to this mitzvah. We know this mitzvah in our minds. This mitzvah is extremely familiar to us. But we're going to concentrate on a few things in this mitzvah that we're learning. It's the mitzvah of Kiddush. Now you might say, what in the world does the mitzvah of Kiddush have to do with Yetzias Mitzrayim? Well, I'm hoping, and if you know it, then you could send me a text message right away. It says, oh, I know, I remember, right? Something he said in the previous videos. It does make sense to me, right? I remember this, okay? So if you do it, you can send me a text message right now. Tell whoever is guarding the video camera, stop him! Stop him, let me just pause, hold on, let me send this answer in. You can do that, no problem. But let's look at source number 6 together, and maybe it'll jog your memory, and then you'll be able to answer. And this is the key to answering the entire sugya right here, in my opinion at least. Okay, this is the Rambam in Hilchos Shabbos, Perek Chaf Tes Halacha Aleph, and the Rambam says as follows. He says, "Mitzvahs Esei min HaTorah." There is one of the 613 mitzvahs, one of the 248 positive commands, meaning they're all positive, the commands, but some of them tell us to do something, and some of them tell us not to do something. This is one of the mitzvahs that tell us to do something. What does it say? L'kadesh es Yom HaShabbos bidvarim. To sanctify the Shabbos day with words, right? That's very oddly phrased. What does that mean to sanctify the Shabbos day with words? What does it mean? How can you sanctify a day? Right? So we sanctify a day. What does the word sanctify mean? It means we set it aside. We designate it, right? So come Shabbos, right? In our minds, we picture Kiddush. What's Kiddush? I got the cup. I said, right? So that's Kiddush, right? So that's in our minds. That's what Kiddush is all about. But really, Kiddush, the cup was added later, right? Cups and wine is added to when we want to honor something. We want to make it more special. We do it at Kiddush. We do it at a bris milah. We do it at a wedding, right? We do it when we say Birkat HaMazon sometimes, right? We add a kos. Whenever you put a cup of wine onto something, we imagine a cup of wine is something that adds honor, right? You have a fancy meal, you put a cup of wine down, right? You drink a cup of wine, it sets the meal up as something special. In the same way, whenever we do a mitzvah that we want to set up in a special way, we have we add in a glass of wine. So Kiddush, really, what's the mitzvah from the Torah of Kiddush? The mitzvah of the Torah of Kiddush is to sanctify the day with words. It means an oral declaration. And what does that look like? It's very simple, right? You stand up and you say, today is Shabbos. Yesterday wasn't. Today is. That's Kiddush from the Torah's sake. I kid you not. Rabbi Akiva Eger, who was a famous rabbi a couple hundred years ago in Europe, felt that merely saying to somebody Good Shabbos was enough to fulfill your mitzvah from the Torah of Kiddush. Just by saying Good Shabbos. You're walking to shul. He was talking about the situation where you're walking to shul on Friday, and on Friday afternoon, and you haven't done mincha yet, so it's still Friday for you, it's not Shabbos, and you're walking to shul, somebody's walking the other way, you say, oh, Good Shabbos, right, because it's close to Shabbos, you're dressing your Shabbos clothes, right, you say Good Shabbos. He says, maybe that's already enough to say Kiddush, to sanctify the day, and to accept Shabbos onto yourself. We don't hold that way, but it's an interesting opinion to show you what it means when we say Kiddush bidvar. Okay, so let's see what the Rambam says here. We have a positive command to be mekadesh the day with words. Shnei amar, zachar yom HaShabbos l'kadsho. Mention, zachar we always like to say means remember, but in truth it means to mention Shabbos kadsho, right? To remember the sanctified Shabbos, the Shabbos Kodesh. Okay, kolomar. Now what does that mean? Zachrehu zechiras shevach v'kiddush. Right? You should make mention of it with the mentioning of praise, meaning to God, and Kiddush and sanctification. Because there has to be a certain composition to what you're going to say. Right? So you've got to, in that composition, you've got to praise God in the Kiddush, and you've got to go ahead and set the day and sanctify the day as something special. And when does this mitzvah apply? Zachar Yom HaShabbos Kadsho. By the way, if you don't recognize the pasuk, which is really sad, it's from the Ten Commandments. Okay, remember the Shabbos day is from the Ten Commandments, Zachar, right? So when do we do this? So we know we make Kiddush when Shabbos starts. But in reality, the Rambam says the mitzvah, and you might not have known this, is when Shabbos starts and when Shabbos ends. We sanctify the day both in the beginning and night. When? B'chini what does that mean? In the beginning, B'kiddush hayom. Right? The day, right? And the entrance is in the entrance of the day, right? Meaning the start of the day, right? That's our regular Kiddush. Ubitziyaso, and when do we do it at the end? Behavdalah, right? We do that with Havdalah. Because what's Havdalah? Being mavdil, separating, right? So we're actually doing at Havdalah is we're separating between, right? What are we separating between? Shabbos and now Sunday, right? Saturday night in Jewish terms is Sunday already. So that's what we're doing at Havdalah. We're setting them aside, right? We're putting them aside. That's Yitziyaso behavdalah, right? And when it exits the Havdalah. So Havdalah it's on a rabbinic level we hold. But Havdalah is actually a fulfillment of this idea of Kiddush, of sanctifying the day. Both at the beginning of the day, the start of the day, and at the end of the day, we go ahead and we sanctify the day with Havdalah. Okay, and that's the idea here. Right, and if you mind, at least it's the next page, source number 7, is the pasuk that we quote, Zachar Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsho. Right, this is the pasuk that we're quoting to make mention of the Shabbos day to sanctify it. Right, that's the idea of the mitzvah. Okay, and that's the mitzvah of Kiddush. Now you might say, what does this have to do with Pesach? That's something that you're gonna have to figure out. I'm hoping I'm getting text messages already, and you're whispering, "Oh, what's this? Is that? This is that?" I'll give you a little hint. It's found somewhere else on the page. Okay, now. Let's look at, we still have a couple minutes on this video, but I don't think we're going to get enough time to do this halacha justice. So what I'd like you to do, we'll end this video earlier than later, what I would like you to do right now is send me in a text message or an email right now, in a 1 or 2 or 3 line summary, no more than 3 lines, I'd like you to tell me what the mitzvah of Kiddush is. What the mitzvah of Kiddush is, that's the first question. The second question, I'd like you to think about a little, what's the connection between Kiddush and telling the story of the Exodus from Egypt? The mitzvah of Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim. So 2 questions that I'd like you to send me. The first question is, give me 2 to 3 lines on summarizing what Kiddush is all about. Second question I'd like you to send me is what the connection between Kiddush and Yitzias Mitzrayim is. I'd like you to think about that for a little while. Don't just try to get this done. Okay? Look forward to learning some more with you.